What's up guys, welcome to another very exciting tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create this grungy look. Let's get started by creating a new comp. Go to layer, new, solid. You can give it a color like light yellow. Type in the text. Now let's change the size a little bit. Change the color to a red color. Ctrl D to duplicate. Bring it down while holding shift. Change the text. Let's give it a black color and make it smaller. Let's increase the spacing. Roughly the same size as the large text. Select bold text and align it. Now select this text, hold shift while dragging up. Perfect. Next, we will create a new adjustment layer. Let's rename it to turbulence. Now go to Effect, Distort, Turbulence Displace. Change this value to a lower number. Increase the size a little bit. Next, create a new layer, new solid. Call it Texture. OK. Go to Effects, Noise and Grain, Rectal Noise. Rectal type to Dynamic, Noise type to Linear, and change the contrast. Something like this. Scale it up. Complexity all the way up to 20. I'll go to Subsetting, change Influence to 91. Subscaling to 49. Go to Evolution option, alt-click Random Seed. Type in random 10,000. Let's preview it. You can see it's very fast. So we need to add one more expression to slow it down. Let's give it a semicolon. Press enter. Type in posterize. Select this expression. Type in 5. Make sure this expression is on top. Now it is playing 5 frames per second, which looks good. Now let's set the track mat. Select both text layers. And if you can't find the track mat, just toggle the switch. Use the pick whip tool and set this to Luma mat. Now you will see this texture cutting through the text. I can show you that by turning this off. You can see it's cut through the text. Next, we will give that wiggle effect. Go to Animate, select Position, go Property, Rotation. This time go to Selector, Wiggly. Now let's change the position a little bit. Let's go down into the Wiggly. Let's change this value to 0, the max amount. Let's go to the random seed. We'll copy this expression from the other layer. It's going to be the exact same expression. Alt click and paste it. Now let's change the rotation a little bit. Give it a 1. Let's try increasing the max amount. maybe to 20. That looks okay. Now let's change this anchor point to the center. It was way below. Make it -40. Looks good. Alright, now it is rotating from the center. Now let's copy this animator and go to the second test. Paste it. Now exact same effect will be applied to the second text. Let's give it a bit more rotation. Go to the rotation and give it like 2. And next we will do the same to this text. Let's go to the rotation, change it to 2. That looks much better. Next we will add effect, stylize, roughen edges. Now kind of play around with these values. Let's change the scale a little bit. Let's go to the border and see. Don't want to do too much, otherwise it's not gonna look good either. Let's try this. Influence, fractal influence, complexity all the way up, and the height. Okay, this looks better now. Now Control C, copy this and paste it to the second layer. Change the border a little bit. Let's do a quick preview. Next, we will animate the background. I have a paper texture I downloaded on the internet. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys. Let's bring in the texture and go to Effect, Color Correction, Tint. Change its blend mode to Overlay. And let's change the color of this solid. A little bit darker color. Alright, looks good. Now it's time to animate this texture. Let's go to Effect, Stylize, Motion Tile. Alt click to tile center. Type in posterize time 5, semicolon, enter. Since we have two values in tile center, we have to put this in a square bracket. Let's type in random 2000, comma 200. Now let's separate this by a comma. Let's copy this and paste it here and semicolon. Now it will give random tile center position basically. Now let's add one more effect. Go to Effect, Distort, Transform. And let's copy this expression. Alt click, rotation. We need to adjust this. Since it's one value, we need to remove the square bracket and one random expression. So you can see these lines from the motion tile. We have to change this to mirror edges. The way the lines will be gone. Also, we need to increase the output width and height. Now let's create a quick preview. Let's change the text color to a darker red. This looks good. Let's give it more contrast. Let's select the texture layer. Go to Effect, Color Correction, Levels. Let's adjust the contrast a little bit. Darken it a little bit. This looks good. Now I think it is too much contrast. Let's hit T and turn the opacity to 30. Now this looks good. Next, we'll create a new layer, solid. Call it Blur Map. Go to Effect, Noise, Fractal Noise. Fractal type to Terrain, the noise type to Spline. Change the contrast and the brightness. Something like this. Go to Transform, rotate it, increase the scale. Adjust the brightness a little bit more. Later we'll animate this evolution property. Now let's go inside subsetting. Kind of play around with this to find a nice pattern. Now let's select this turbulence layer. Go to Effect, Blur, Compound Blur. Select the blur map. Choose Source to Effects and Masks. As you can see, it is blurring out the bright pixels from the fractal noise. We can lower this number to a lower number. That looks good. So now we can animate this evolution property. Alt click, click time times, say 800. Let's check it. Looks like it is too fast. Let's lower it by adding the same expression. Posterize time, select 5. Make sure the posterize time is on top of the other expression. So that looks good. A quick preview. Looks like we need to adjust the blur map a little bit. I don't see that much blur because only these bright pixels will be the areas that will blur out the image. So we need to get more brighter areas. You can see now it has more random blur effect. Now it's time to add extra details. Create a new adjustment layer. Go to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Give it maybe like 3. Zoom in. Next, Effect, Blur, Unsharp Mask. Give it maybe like 4. Too much, maybe 1. Alright, that looks good. Go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves. Let's bring up this a little bit. Create another adjustment there. Add curves again. Let's darken it. Change the blend mode to luminosity. Darken it. Now select the pen tool, create a mask like this. Go to the mask and invert and feather it. Right, let's play it a little bit. Maybe expand the mask a little bit more. Think this looks good. Think I will give more wiggle to this text. Let's go ahead and give it like 6. Maybe 5 here, rotation. Same position, let's go give it a 6. And rotation 5 for the both text. This looks good. Think we need to adjust the anchor point on this second text. So let's go ahead and do that. -40 maybe. Alright, that looks good. Now we're going to animate the text. Now go to animate, rotation, property, opacity. Rotate it like 30 degrees, opacity to 0. Let's go to range selector, start at 0 and then 100. Alright, this looks good. Let's adjust this anchor point. Give it more rotation. Alright, this looks good, I think. Maybe a little bit lower number. Now let's copy this animator. Make sure you're at the beginning of the timeline. Copy, paste it to this text. Now let's change the angle of this animate in for the second text. Let's go to range selector, get rid of this keyframe, create a keyframe in the offset. Go to -100. So now it will be animating in from right to left. Alright, this looks good. Let's increase the rotation a little bit and change the anchor point. Maybe that is too big, I think. Let's change it to a lower number. Yeah, something like that, 70. And this to 50. Alright, this looks good. Now I've noticed these transparent pixels around the comp. To get rid of that, just select this layer, go to Effect, Channel, Solid Composite. Choose the color picker, choose the same color as background. Now it's gone. As you can see, it fills up the transparent pixels. Alright guys, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you have any questions. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.